pop stars. Welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
Thank you for joining us this week. This episode is sponsored by Wick Candles. We clear the air around you while lighting up whoever, whatever needs it. Best-selling packages include the Snuffer, Smelling Daisies, Puppies Are Forever, New Mustang, and the most popular Wick Shot. For more information, check it out at candleservice.jwick. Tammy, something tells me that's not strictly about candles, but you
I
know
feel
my
it, but
mom.
the check cleared though.
The check clear, so I ain't asking no questions. Well, pop stars, just in case you couldn't catch it by this week's amazing ad, we are checking out the latest chapter in the John Wick saga, John Wick Chapter 4, which pretty much picks up where Chapter 3 left off with John Wick still on the run and excommunicated. However, he soon finds that he is not the only one being hunted by the table, as the new Marquis has been given carte blanche in his quest to bring Wick down, and that includes going after his few remaining friends and allies. So, Tammy, what did you think of the latest chapter in the John Wick story? Was it a classic headshot or merely a paper cut?
Oh, that's headshot through and through. I really enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan of the John Wick series. I just think Keanu Reeves has done a phenomenal job with this character. And so went into it with how long the movie was, but it was mainly just action, and even the conversations were significant to the action that was going to soon be coming up. So I definitely enjoyed it, and I guess we'll go more in detail as we go through our conversation. But definitely, really straight to the head shot. How about you, Eddie?
Yeah, I agree. I loved it. It was classic Wick. It like you said, it did seem like it was 3 hours. I went directly after I left the day job. So normally, by that Friday evening, I'm just like exhausted, and I was like, okay, 3 hours. I know at one point I'm going to get a nap, but I didn't. I was wide awake. I even got into my really comfortable position. I didn't have my movie blanket. But yes, I'm one of those people. I have a movie blanket. But I didn't have my movie blanket with me. But I kicked back and I got really comfortable, and I was awake the whole time. And it didn't really seem like it was that long. But like you said, I love the action. It was violent, but somehow it seemed less violent than the previous two, or are we just immune to it, or what?
I think it's being immune. I don't think it was more violent. I think the violence was necessary. You know how? Because I was thinking that when I was after it finished, I was just like, some people would be like, oh my god, like it's just too violent, all the killing. But it was, all the killings were necessary. Like it played to the plot of the movie. You watch other movies and they kill people, like the gore and everything like that is just for to sensationalize that kind of stuff, right? Or you realize that wasn't necessarily necessary. Like that scene was not necessary. All the blood splatter and everything like that. And that was not the case with John Wick. Like it wasn't a case where they just had blood splattering to splatter, but you understood why every kill happened or every major action scene happened. Like it played a role, unlike some other movies that just do it just for I don't want to say special effects, that's the wrong word, but like when they just make it bigger than it needs to be. I thought of a good example would be like the Fast and the Furious series, right? Like it gets more and more outrageous every single movie. Now, of course, we're gonna still go watch it, but the stunts and everything is just so crazy. I'm just like, never. Like never. But with John Wick, I was just like, oh yeah, I can see this secret world. I can see this underworld society. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't just there to be there. So I appreciate that. Um, and it was not. I loved how this one focused on his relation friendships. Um, and you kind of think of him as a lone singular hitman. It's hard to believe how far we come from a man and his dog.
All started with a dog.
It all started with the dog that his dying wife left him so he would not be alone, so he would have something to take care of and not necessarily end up back in this world. But they couldn't leave the man alone, and then they had to go after his car, so his car and his dog. Like, and here we are all these years later. Um, but I loved the relationships, his friends, Shimazu, the Japanese concierge or the Japanese hotel owner or hotel manager, of course Winston, and even Donnie or Kane, and of course the Rat King, the Underground King, the Elder King, whatever you want to call him, Mr. Lawrence Fishburne. But I love those relationships and the connections, and you even that was offered towards Donnie, realizing that he didn't really want to be in the position that he was in, but he told everybody, if it's between you and my daughter, then I'm choosing my daughter. I hate this, but it's like I'm doing what I have to do. And so even just that understanding, like that one scene in the church was, and as much as you wanted to hate Donnie for what happened to Shimazu,
It's
I
Kane.
still
Call
couldn't.
him Kane.
Kane. You still could, well, I just went with this. Yeah, but Kane. I still just couldn't bring myself to do it. He was that, I guess he was like the anti-hero. He wasn't necessarily the villain, but you understood. And sometimes it when a movie or a series gives you that type of choice or that type of character, they lean into it where they feel like they have to, even though you have an understanding of why they're doing what they're doing and why they're making the choices that they're making, they don't leave very much room for the compassion or the empathy with that character. And with Kane, I understood it, and I still was able to have some compassion and some empathy towards him. It's like he was always very honest, and it was like he didn't want to do what he knew he was going to have to do until he absolutely had to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah. So I love that. What did you think about Kane's character? Did you like him, hate him, somewhere between indifferent?
I liked his character, but I didn't have any sympathy for him. Because you could clearly see with Shimazu and with, like, he was willing to fight for the brotherhood, and so Kane had that same option and still didn't do it. And his whole mindset was, but I'm fighting for my daughter. So was everybody else. Like the Osaka manager, he also had his daughter. Now, granted, his daughter worked in the hotel with him, and she was fully in that life. But he also had a daughter that he had to protect. And so it was, Kane had a choice. He made his choice, and so I'm just like, I didn't like the fact at the end that he was left alive. I was not a fan of that, because I felt like he should have retribution for what he did to his friends. Like I feel like at some point you should have died. Like your
Oh,
life
you
should
didn't.
have been taken, and you should have sacrificed your life if it was to protect your daughter. Ultimately, no matter what, your life should have been taken in order to protect your daughter, and he didn't do that. And I don't feel like it was necessarily remorse. Like, I think that he was doing what was necessary, but I don't think he felt the full remorse of it. Like, especially when he killed his friend in Japan. I didn't see the remorse that he had over doing that. But you know what? But I did understand his character. I understood why he was doing what he was doing, but that doesn't mean I was on his side in any type of way over what he was doing.
Yeah, I can't say I was fully on his side, but I had more compassion and empathy for him. After Shimazu, I thought, oh, you need to die. Like, after Shimazu, I thought it was just going to be that stereotypical, oh, I'm leaning all into this. Um, and so I had a better understanding as the movie got went on with what he was trying to do. Um, and we're going to talk about his ending in just a moment. And you've already addressed it. I love how Shimazu did choose a different path. And even Akira, his daughter, even though she did not really like her father's loyalty to John Wick, you could see that she understood it, because I at one point thought she was going to join the hit list, the team to take him down, because she held him responsible for what happened to her father. Um, you know, because she did. There's this one point where she tells her daughter, everything he touches dies. Everyone around him dies. Like, why is he here? And you know, and that was even before she knew he was in the hotel. And then when she found out he was in the hotel, the look. But at the point where she had a choice to make, do I kill him myself and get this over with? You know, she decided to fight and fight alongside him. So I thought that was really, really commendable. And I loved her. I loved Akira. I thought she was so kick ass. I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of her, um, besides what we did. I love the scene on the train with her and Wick where she tells him, that either, and she's very straightforward with them. You know, again, she tells him either you kill Kane or I kill Kane, and it basically putting him on notice that if I do it, I won't have any sympathy about it. It won't be one of those mercy killings. Um, and all he says is he understood. And I love just the subtleness of the scene, but how, so everything that was said. So I take it that you did not see the end credits, did
I
you?
did.
Oh, so you don't think she got him?
No,
You think he was ready for, like he said he
it's
was?
not being ready, but he was an assassin for decades. So even if you feel that you can sneak up on him, I don't think that she was able to sneak up on him. So she did a horrible strategy, because what I would have done is I'd have killed his daughter. It's a life for a life. And you killed the person most important to me that I love most in the world. I'm going to kill the person most important to you that you love most in the world. That's a true assassin. That's someone, like, I feel like if we're being true assassins and we're being true to the rules of the game, of the world that we live in, you don't go after Cain, you go after his daughter. And that is who you ultimately kill, because that's what he was doing everything for. Because you knew he was there, because that's how she knew to go after him, is because of where his daughter was. So that means you knew who his kid was. So I'm killing the daughter. I'm killing daughter, because when you heard her open the knife, I was just like, and then it went to black. I said, she ain't gonna make it. I said, she ain't gonna make it. He may be blind, and he may be so happy and around other people and letting his guard down. You ain't gonna make it.
See, I wouldn't have. Well, first of all, I understood I understood the stealthiness of it, and she is masterful with the blade. But for me, I wouldn't have gone with the blade. I would have gone with the needle. I would have had some poison ready to just inject. Um,
Oh, yes. Yes, that's what
see,
we gonna be assassin partners, Eddie.
especially in that scene, because I agree with you. The knife, the opening of it, even though you are, or she should have already had those ready blades. Those I forgot what you call them, but those Japanese blades that are already open, where you can I don't know what, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Not the knife, but the blade that you can just already, that's already ready. But I'm with, so but I loved her, and I agree with you. And pretty soon in a minute we're going to talk about something else. But the one person I was curious as to why they never went after. Why didn't they ever go after the king? Like they weren't ready for that smoke. Like, because I thought he went after Shimazu. The person who absolutely helped him the most was the Underground King.
But how did he help him? He helped him
He
but
got him the suits. He got him the
he got him a
transportation.
suit. He got him a weapon. He
He
got him
nursed
from
him
point
back to
A
health.
to point B. But oh well, he did train. He did train for him. But I feel like to be honest, I don't know, because I was just thinking on, they were going after the ones who were truly part of the network, because even though the king was of the world, he wasn't in the world. So he was of the world, but he wasn't necessarily in the world. But he was just part of the assassin world. But he was like the underground of the
I
underground.
I was like, he don't want that smoke, because it was funny though when he told Winston when they met in the rain, and Winston was like, I need to see him, and he's like, I'm surprised you came, and he goes, well, us homeless brothers got to stick together.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, too soon, but that was good.
right in front of his hotel. But yeah, that's interesting. But I think they went after the ones that they could truly take down, that they own. Because so I got it because I was thinking about it when you said it, because I was like, that's real interesting. So it's easier to go after the others because you got to look at the king. He ain't have no hotel or nothing like that. Like, it's underground. What you gonna do? What you gonna bomb underground and take everything down with you? You know? So like, it's like how he lived, he lived nowhere and everywhere at the same time. But you could clearly go after the rest of John Wick's friends because they all had something concrete to hold on to, literally. Winston with his hotel, and his concierge, because we never saw anybody for the king, like anyone concrete next to the king. So Winston with his concierge and his hotel. You had in Osaka, you had his hotel as well. So it was kind of like they felt the hotel was theirs, and it was just being, they were renting it, but it was clearly like theirs. Like they were paying a mortgage for their hotel. And so you can clearly go after what you can take away from them, compared to for the king, there was nothing to take away from the king.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch the first three, excuse me. But I think it's in the first one that they explain, because I want to say, wasn't the king at one point, wasn't he excommunicated? Wasn't he one of the assassins for the table too? There, I forgot what his exact connection was, and I can't remember if they explain it in one or two. But yeah. But anyway, it's just gonna John Wick. That I talk about classics, and I talk about series, and I talk about movies, and Keanu is one of those people who's on like my Jason Statham list. It may not always be like the best movie, but if Keanu Reeves is in it, I am going to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I just love him, and I love what he's done, what they did with this series. Like he's an American treasure.
Oh, I agree with you. He definitely, Keanu Reeves would be one of my Jason Stathams. Like, I don't have the same love for Jason Statham that you do, but when it comes to Keanu Reeves, like, he's definitely on the list where I will love him for life, because while with his acting, like, he just does a phenomenal job, and he pulls you in for the characters that he plays, no matter what the characters are. He's also an amazing person in real life. Like, he's just a genuinely amazing person, human being in real life. And so that just makes you fall in love with him more, because as good as he acts in some of his roles, he's actually that good of a person in real life. And it may not, I won't say that it's very rare to see that, but to really showcase how good of a person he is with everything that he's gone through in life, it just makes you fall in love with him more. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So okay, that answers the question about my underground king. I love Bill Skarsgård, the younger of the Skarsgård family. His dad Stellan, and his brother it's Alex, right? Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander.
Um,
They have another one, but I forgot what the other one's name is.
Is he an actor too?
Huh? Yeah, it's a whole family of actors. They're all three of his sons act.
Okay. Bill is the baby, I think, but
yeah, he is. He's the youngest.
I love him, and he's one of those actors where he takes a role, and he plays these weird. He normally plays these off the cuff weird roles. He's good. He's so good at playing the bad guy. He really is, and I love that. Even though you get the feeling that the Marquis was so over the top, there was a subtleness to him, because you could tell that he could have been that cartoony like villain, and he could have been just all garish and just. But I love the subtlety he brought to his over the topness, if that makes sense. Just from the way that he dressed, how his home was practically a museum, and he's sitting up there, instead of watching TV, he's just sitting in that long gallery just looking at paintings that were probably his ancestors, and it's just like, and then he sits there with the tea, and it's just like, wow, like, dude, you really are just over the top, but there's just this little creepy subtleness that was brought to the role, and so kudos for Skarsgård for being able to pull that off. But I love the Marquis. He was the perfect villain. And I loved how we saw his arrogance throughout the movie, how that actually becomes his downfall. Even when the the harbinger told him, several occasions, watch your step, don't underestimate, you might be overplaying your hand. And he just thought, no, there's no way. um you know so I love that. And one thing that he one way that he overplayed his hand, he really fucked up, is when he went after Winston's hotel. Because, quote unquote, like you said, it technically belongs to the table, but those managers are in place, and they've been there for so long that it's theirs. They think
Mm-hmm.
that it becomes theirs. And he killed, and not only that, so Winston was prepared to pay the price, but he thought he was going to have to pay it. So when he really, really fucked up is when he killed Sharon. Rest in peace. Oh God, that it just it hits differently. But rest in peace to Lance Reddick once again, who unfortunately passed away just a week before the movie made its domestic premiere. It's just, God, one of those strange cases where life imitates art. But so when it was like, okay, I'm prepared to meet my fate, I'm prepared to do this. But when he killed Sharon, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, homeboy, you got the wrong person. And so it's like, damn, Winston, when he tried to tell Winston, oh, this isn't just your hotel, you're indispensable, you're blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, right. And I'm like, dude, Winston's probably the smartest one in here. Because the way he negotiates at the end, like his terms of his negotiation at the end, I'm like, and John Wick was even like, damn, there's always something in it for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, yeah. But what did you think about the Marquis and Phil
No,
Skarsgård's
I agree. I
performance?
think he played the role really, really well. He embodied that role. All I kept saying is that's the clown from It, but
Yeah.
which he did a phenomenal job for that as well. But yeah, I think he did so well. And then at first I was just like, wait, like isn't he playing like a Swedish dude or something like that? And then he started throwing out the Spanish, and I said, oh no, he's playing a Spanish dude. I said, "Oh, okay, okay, Marquis, I see you." So it was definitely interesting, and I think he played his role well. What I loved about his role was he comes into this really confident, and he was overconfident. That is true. The Harbinger did tell him that. You think you're more important than you actually are. That's basically what he was saying. But he comes in, he's extremely confident, like I'm gonna get this done, and I'm gonna kill whoever is necessary. But you were trying to kill an unkillable man, basically. And so he didn't fully, because he was so confident in himself, he did not fully acknowledge the significance and the power that John Wick had. Like John Wick had built up his network to a point where even if they were in it for themselves in one way, like Winston in it to get back his hotel, to get it rebuilt, at the end of the day, they put their faith behind the person that they knew if they wanted to really get something, John Wick was the person you put your faith behind. And I think he never truly acknowledged that until the end, when he sent all those people after John Wick. And as he heard the gunshots getting closer and closer, and you see his face changes from being confident and cocky to all of a sudden he starts to get scared. And you slowly see the fear come on his face as he hears those gunshots closer and closer. And I was just like, oh yeah, he coming for you. He
Yes.
coming for you.
Because when the words you never want to hear, what was it? His nickname, Baba Yaga, which translates into boogeyman. The words
Yeah,
you never want to hear is boogie, when he says, "I'm gonna kill you." Because when John Wick tells you he's going to kill you,
he's gonna kill you.
oh, he's gonna kill you. Like, that's it. You're gonna die. Like, that is it. You passed the black cat. You've seen your death. Like, you just know it's happening. And if he tells you in your face, then you're pretty much going to die within the next 5 minutes. And that's being generous. If he tells you over the phone, you might have some time to try to go somewhere and hide or get your affairs together. But when you hear John Wick say those words, oh, you dead. Like, your death warrant has already been signed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. Um, so I loved him, but like, one character I love, I love Mr. Nobody, aka the Tracker. Like, I loved him. I didn't think I would like him, but he was just so cool. Like, from the moment he walked into the hotel, it's like, what is his role going to be? Like, you knew he wasn't some random in the movie, but what is his role going to be? And you kind of thought, or at least I thought, okay, he's another one who's just been sent. He's another one who's going to kill Wick. But it was it. What got me is when Wick said, "You're a tracker," and he's like, you know. And so when he and then Wick was like, "Okay, are you about to shoot me?" And he shoots the other guy. And he's like, "But," he goes, "Yeah." He goes, and he goes, "How much are they wanting?" And when he shoots the other guy, he goes, "Not enough. So it's in your best interest to stay."
Because
I
when you
was,
see him open the book and he has the tears, and
yeah, the
at the
ranch.
very very top, big and bold, is $50 million is what he wanted for killing John Wick. So he was waiting for it to go up to $50 million, and he's like, "You got to stay alive so I get my money." Like,
Yeah. He reminded me of that scene, kind of reminded me of Vince Vaughn's character in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the one who was like, "I don't get out of bed for less than 100 grand."
yes, yeah, oh yes,
So
I thought
it
I
was like
remember
that.
that.
It was like that whole thing because you knew he wanted that $50 million for that chateau, 48.2 exactly, for the chateau for him and this puppy. And when he goes to Kira and she goes, we don't allow pets. And he goes, "But it's emotional support." And when he goes, "Your emotional support," he goes, "No, I'm his." And I was just like, oh my gosh. But I loved him, and we don't even know his name. He just called him Puppy. So I loved him, and I loved Puppy. Like, they were, and the one thing we never knew, the marquee, especially that scene. I admit this scene, I kind of had to close my eyes or just turn away a little
The
bit.
knife scene,
Yes,
yeah.
where he goes, either you pull it out or you slide your hand through, and I'm like, oh my god. And you would have been proud of me. I had to catch myself a couple of times because sometimes I talk to myself and I found myself talking out loud a little bit like I was at home. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, headshot.
Because at first, when he took the handle of the knife, I was just like, "Don't pull it out! Don't pull it out!" And I was like, "Oh shit, he gotta pull it out in order to get his hand." And then when he starts sliding his hand back, I said, "Oh shit!"
I'm like, that's a real G. Oh, this is gross. But yeah, I was just like, and Kane had told him, he's like, "Don't go in there. Do not make a deal. It's not going to be beneficial for you."
He
And
had
he
no
got it.
choice though. He had no
Yeah,
choice.
he had no choice but he got him up. He's like, "Okay, what did he get him up to at that point? 23 plus you matched it in his 401k." I'm like, damn, he's a damn good negotiator. And then when he called him from the place in Paris, and he goes, "Yes," and and the guy hung up on him at first, and then he calls him back, and he goes, "You never did tell me how you found him," and he never explained. Like, that's the one thing I'm curious about is how the hell did this dude do what no one's been able to do in four and three other movies? How is he able to track John Wick so seamlessly? Like, they
So
never explained that.
yeah, so that was my thing on who are you? Because you're connected to somebody, but who are you connected to? That you got all this information, he's connected to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, who is he connected to, and how are we gonna find out who this Mr. Nobody is? Because it would just be interesting to see, how did you get all the information that you had inside that notebook? Because everything that he needed was in that notebook.
Yeah, and if you notice, his phone was one of those old school Nokia flip phones. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't have the smart. Like, he was very low tech, but he was very good at his job.
He was.
So I loved Mr. Nobody, and I loved Puppy, especially. And I think and I don't. Okay, so tell me this: do you think after Wick saved Puppy that he would have actually killed him?
No, that's the reason why he changed his mind about it.
Yeah, and I thought so, too. And I'm like,
Oh
because when
wait, you know what? He was actually still about to, because you remember when he set up to shoot him, and Puppy was like, and he was like, "All right,
all right.
fine."
Oh yeah, because it was like because Puppy liked him from the beginning. He's like, he's a dog dude. But then it was like, because he reminded him, hey, he saved my life. So at that point, it was like, all bets were off. I was like, okay, he's not gonna do it. Like, there's no at this point, there's no amount of money you could give him that would make him kill this man. But
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. And when he told Puppy he goes nuts, and Puppy went for the nuts,
Oh my gosh.
and then he peed on him. I'm like,
I
oh shit.
loved it. That was the best thing when it was a headshot, and then after that, dog went and just lift up his leg, peed on him. Like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, like, who's the bitch now? He was like, you hit my puppy.
Yeah, you hit my puppy.
So
Oh, cause yeah.
yeah. And I love that. And it's like, dude, you had all of the Paris underground pretty much after this man. And I know when he had to walk up, when she goes, who's gonna stop him from climbing those 222 steps? And he looks up, he looks at his watch, he looks up at that steps, and then I kind of got it was giving Lethal Weapon vibes with no, Danny Glover. I'm too old for this shit.
But yo, I'm telling you, when he made it to the top, and then the
And I
dude
went push
showed
him
up
back
and
down.
dropped him to the bottom,
I was like, the fuck? And then
and
he
he,
was like, at that point,
oh my
it was
gosh.
real. It was so real. And he was just like, fuck it. He looked at his watch again. He's like, fuck it. I'm not doing that again. Like,
And
I know
oh,
how this is going to end. I'm ready for it. Just let it end. They can come get me. I'm not climbing those steps.
but you know what? I will say that is one reason why I love the John Wick series more than a lot of the other series. And the reason why is because it was very realistic, right? So John Wick, Keanu Reeves is over like 50 or over, right? Keanu Reeves is old. And granted, he do look good for his age, but he's still old. And I love the fact of like his fighting scenes, right? And then at the end, he breathing heavy, right? Because he's like, oh my gosh. Oh goodness, that was and I was just like, yes. I said the fight, and then it was like, oh, but it wasn't like stylish, nothing like that. Like saying that because you know the stunts that he did on his own, I felt like it was realistic on you actually fighting and flipping and doing all of that. And I'm just like, yeah. And then he tired because he old. Like, what y'all expect him? Like,
But
he just gonna be chilling right now? Come on now.
and I love, and you could tell it. Like, John Wick, the character was tired, and I think it was a stylistic choice because I don't think he's as stunt crazy as Tom Cruise, who's damn near 70, jumping out of airplanes and shit. But he Keanu Reeves does do a lot of his own
His own
stunts,
stunts, yeah.
and I think that it was a choice. We have to remember that this picks up pretty much where three left off. He was recovering from getting shot off of a building. He was tired, and he had just climbed up 225 stairs while fighting off other people doing so. So when you get kicked down that flight of stairs, like, at that point, he's running on pure adrenaline. And it's like, dude, I'm with you because my ass. I would have been like, nah, I'm good. Let them motherfuckers just
No, but
come
even
get me.
even before that, when they were in Japan and he was fighting and he beat up
Oh, he
all
was
the
tired.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he
It's
got.
like,
I was just like, that is so
that's
realistic because
realistic.
when they're old, and then you're just like, and then you still going, like you got all this energy, and I was just like, yeah, because you're stunt dumbing, double doing all the work. But the realistic thing is, you got to be tired. You old. Like, how the heck you still going? So even as he kept going, because that man's got his back broken multiple times. And I was just like, and even as he keeps going and jumping off buildings and all this other stuff, he be laying there like, whew, goodness, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I got to
Give me
catch
a
my
minute.
breath. Like for Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, he jumping back up and keeping going. I said, oh, dude, there is no way. There is no way
Like,
that you
what
still got
energy?
all the energy you had from the first Mission Impossible. John Wick was realistic. I love that part of the character because that is one thing that Keanu Reeves said. He was just like, I'm 50. Like, there is no way I'm gonna just continue to fight and I ain't gonna be out of breath. Like that was a decision made on it. I have to catch my breath. Like if this was really a 50-something-year-old dude, you gonna catch your breath. Okay. I ain't no
Shit,
Liam
30
Neeson
year
where
old
I'm
dude
keep
getting
going.
thank you. 30-year-old dude getting thrown up against a car and run over by cars and shit
You're
like
gonna
that.
have to rest.
You're gonna catch your breath. Like, you could be in the best fucking shape ever. Like, even Rocky at his prime, going up the flights at City Hall in Philadelphia, which is like one of the steepest staircases in the US. Like, dude, even when he got to the top, he put them hands up and then he put his hands on his knees, like, fuck. So I agree with you. I'm all for it. And I like seeing it to be I like seeing the realism in it more and more. One of my favorite guns though, one of my favorite things is I loved that fire gun. Like, look at us, the violence just coming out. That fire gun was fire, like for real, pun intended. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one to get through his ballistic suit. Yeah.
Yeah, the one, yeah, that gun. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. But yeah, so I loved it.
Oh, I thought he was gonna talk about. I like the gun that the king gave him,
Oh
and
yeah,
he was like
and he gave
21
it a
rounds.
name like Milo or something. I'm like, no, not
Yeah,
Milo. Like when he jumped in the street, I'm like, you gotta go back and get Milo.
yeah. Like I thought that was an amazing gun that he gave him. I was just like, shit. If I'm gonna be an assassin, you give me that shit.
Thank you. But yeah, I loved the ending, and and I think one of the things that made me appreciate Johnny or Kane even more is like when John was at the bottom of the stairs and he was like, and he's like, get your ass up and get up these stairs. Like, come on, let's go. Like, it's not ending like this. And I was like, okay. And so then he helped them basically get up to the stairs.
Because that's the
And
only way
so
he could be free with his daughter was he was like, we got to duel. Like, I have to duel you in order to get my daughter's freedom. So I'm gonna help you get to the top and get to this church. We gonna get to this church.
we're gonna get to this church, but and so the true ending is I loved it. Like the duel itself, the 30 paces, and they both could have taken each other out from the 30 paces, and then the 20, and then the 10 where he doesn't fire the gun and you think he's giving up, and it's like, and then when the Marquis he tags himself back into the game at
Yeah,
that
all of
point
a
when
sudden,
Wick is
because he on the
down.
floor.
Yeah, and Winston's like, you arrogant asshole. He did not fire his gun, and it's like then it dawned on him too late. Like, headshot.
That was a beautiful ending. You sure right.
And then nobody and Puppy just sitting there on the bench with front row seats. Nobody even pulled out his beer. I'm like, the only thing missing is the popcorn.
You sure? Yeah, that was funny.
And he poured some in the Puppy's bowl. Like, I loved it. So I'm gonna go with the unpopular opinion. I don't think Wick is really dead.
Why is that an unpopular opinion?
I don't know. A lot of people were just like, "Oh, he's dead." Dead. I don't think he's dead.
I think they're gonna see what they can do. I think it's kind of so I think the decision that they made is partly on can they open up this world of the John Wick world. They're coming out with the TV series that's going to be based on, I believe, is the Continental is what it's going to be based on in New York City. But they're coming out with the series. So it's kind of like if we can build on this world, then I could see them keeping John Wick dead for a while and then him having to come back. Maybe if depending on if the okay, so I think of it this way. I think of it like the Bourne series, right? I think of it as in they try to open up the Bourne world to more than just Jason Bourne, who is the person that got us into this world. And then when they realized that they couldn't be as successful with it as with the Bourne series, then Matt Damon comes back as Bourne. And so like I look at it that way for John Wick. They're going to see, can we make people fall in love with this world that we have created in the John Wick series? And if we can, then John Wick can stay dead. But if we cannot make people fall in love with this, then I can see them pulling Keanu Reeves back into it.
Okay. Well, I
So
agree
he's
with you.
dead for now, but I won't say he's gonna be dead forever.
Okay, I agree with you with the series, and that's the next part to talk about what we want to see with the series, how to expand it. But I just don't think John Wick, even in the thing, is dead. I think like this is my thing. I think because we see him finally, the adrenaline wears down and he falls out the stairs, but I don't think he's dead. I know Winston
Remember,
wouldn't
if
have
you don't
let
see a
him.
body,
Yeah, and I just don't think Winston would have let him die. So I think he got him help, but he's just somewhere off living his life, and they know that's the only way that they will ever truly in that world leave him alone, his new founded family, whatever obligations he would have to them, whatever, since he was back in his family. I think it's just best if everyone thinks that he's dead and he could just go live in peace, whatever. So that was my whole thing. It's like, okay, so when I saw the grave, I was like, oh, that's cool. I understand why they did it, but in my mind, John Wick isn't dead. Like it would not surprise me in any way if he shows back up in any way, shape, or form. Now, as far as the series continuing, the John Wick world continues. I would love for it to continue. I know that they were talking about the Continental series starring Mel Gibson, which is a no. I really do not want Mel Gibson in that series. Like from the moment they mentioned it, like after two, before three, I was like, hell no. Like they've been working on this series for a long time. And I've just never thought Mel Gibson was the person to do that. But, I guess they're still determined to move ahead with it, with him. I was like, why can't you get Winston to do it? Like, I thought Winston and Lance
He's
Reddick.
old.
What the fuck is Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson ain't as old as Ian McShane.
Mel Gibson is not. Ian McShane is not as problematic as Mel Gibson.
I get that, and I get what you're trying to say. I'm just saying, I could clearly tell in John Wick 4, Ian McShane is old, and like he's tired. Like even like his dentures, I was just like, damn.
God, you're attacking the dentures. Say no more.
I was like, woo, they couldn't get you better looking dentures, boo. Like your dentures too white. I can clearly tell those ain't your teeth. Those ain't your teeth, boo.
But since the manager, doesn't since the manager doesn't, generally get involved in the fighting, but I get it. And I think the Continental series has potential. I just would prefer anyone other than Mel Gibson to be in the series. And it hurts my heart that Keanu signed off on that, but whatever. And then also there's rumors, about Anna de Armas playing one of the ballerinas from 3, the assassin ballerinas. I wasn't really. I could see it. She is a kick ass. When she does action, she does it well. We saw that in what was she in the Gray Man? Yeah, she was in the Gray Man.
Yeah, she was in the Gray Man. Yeah,
and there's something else where she did a bit of action. So
James Bond.
Yeah. So I could see it, but again, when we talked about it previously on a rewind or something, she wasn't my first choice for that either. But I honestly think that we saw two of the best stars to carry on the series. We were introduced to them in the movie. And hear me out. Akira and Nobody would be awesome. Maybe not necessary for a movie, but I think Akira and Nobody in a series together would be great because, like you said, we're so curious about who Mr. Nobody is now. Like, where the hell did this dude come from? What is it that he exactly does? Like, what is a tracker, and how is he so good at it when he's so fucking low tech? Like, I loved him, and I was just really intrigued by him and his character and the chemistry between him and Akira. Like, it would be great to see them like team up or partner up on something. Like, I would love to see a series with those two. I think they have the potential to be the future of a John Wick spin-off series or a continuation of this world. What about you?
I could see either one, but not together. I don't think we should force a partnership on that because Mr. Nobody doesn't work with people. So I think if it was more of a lone story focused on him, then that could work. Or if it was Akira being a character that was within the series, and she played one of the main characters of the series, I could see that working. But having a partnership between them, I don't see that working. I don't see that necessarily just based on who their characters were within the John Wick 4 series movie.
Yeah, I could see it going either way, but I would be intrigued, like I said, just for the scene that they shared together, just the chemistry, and I thought that we would see more of them together. And the situation, circumstances forced them apart, but I could actually see them doing something together. Even if it's like they each get their own series, and then at one point they kind of have to join up for something. But yeah, I would love it. So I am really, really interested to see where the series goes, or how the John Wick world or John Wick verse continues on And I will watch the Continental, even though I just railed against the person who's supposed to be the lead actor in it. I will give it a chance just because I love John Wick universe that much. And like we said before, Keanu Reeves generally is a really good person. So I'm like, okay, what concessions did they have to do to get him to sign off on Mel Gibson, being a part of this? Because he is executive producer and all that for you know John Wick, and so we'll see. But anyway, you got anything else to add? Anything?
No, I think we touched on everybody. We did a pretty good job on touching on everybody.
Yeah, got the highlights. It was really really good. Okay, so drum roll or pop 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 pop. Instead of drum rolls, we're doing pops pop 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 pop. The moment you all been waiting for. How many popcorns are you giving John Wick for?
So for John Wick 4, and just, basically the quartet of the series, I'm going to give it 4 popcorns. I really, really enjoyed the movie. There were some things that I didn't agree with within the movie, of course, but 4 popcorns is really good. Like, I enjoyed it, even as it was close to 3 hours. It was still an enjoyable movie. What about you, Eddie?
I'm giving it the same thing I would give the series. I give it 4.5 popcorns. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, the 3 hour mark was but it was one of those that didn't seem like it was 3 hours. But because when I first saw that, I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, it did not seem like it was 3 hours, and I really really enjoyed it. And you know, and the series overall is one of my favorite series. And yeah. So the whole thing, all of it, the movie, the series gets 4.5, and I look forward to seeing how it continues. The John Wick verse continues, and whether or not we will get the answers to if John Wick is really dead. And I know for now, they are saying that he's dead, and I completely understand why they're doing that. But yeah, we will see. All right. Well, that does it for this week's episode of Popcorn Wind Down. Please be sure to like, listen, follow, comment, all of the above. Anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast, you can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at thepopcornwinddown.com. That's it. That's the plug. Poppy the
Pop,
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 pop, pop, pop,
pop.
pop.
You as always. And be sure to join us next week when we talk about Shadow and Bone. I feel like there should be some old school 1950s scary movie music there, like Vincent Price just talking Shadow and Bone. I'm gonna work on that for next week.
Funny.
She don't stop rolling your eyes at me. I can
No,
tell
that's
through.
funny. That's funny.
But until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.